Morning everybody. So yeah, got a good little parcel in the post today. Well, I always get good parcels to be fair, because I order loads of stuff for the bike, and who doesn't like getting deliveries? I got some tools, some taps, not like house taps, some taps and dies. Finally bit the bullet and bought a hex bit set. Got some oil filters, went with the high flow filters mainly because they've got a 17mm like nut on the back of the oil filter so I can crack it off, and then it's also got a drilled hole through the nut so I can wire that into place. But a really nice one that I've just got is a parcel from Southampton Harley-Davidson. That's where I've been buying all my spare parts from. The parts guy there is a legend, because obviously it's a 92 bike, but the parts guy's been mega, because I call him up and go, I don't know what this part is, can you find it? There's pretty much been nothing we can't find, you know, an original part or a replacement part to, which is awesome.
Now I know you've already seen us fit this intake manifold thingy, but because Alad is a tart, he took it out again to refit with shiny bits. Exactly what bit are you fitting, Alad?
Intake flanges, that's these.
It's a right little bugger to fit, by the way.
Oh, this is going to be a pain in the ass. That's it from the other side. You can see all nice cinched in. You can actually see straight down into the port there, which is quite cool. It's a pretty big orifice, that's the word. And then electron carb goes on there and mounts off those 2 points there. So that's the second job. Carb, slider. Oh. And you get to see the Welsh Dragon behind you. Hello. Perfect. So this is my setup. I'm running the Hammer Performance intake. The Electron's designed to use a standard intake. I'm going to get the measurements slightly wrong. Effectively, if you run the Hammer Performance intake, which is a 58mm intake, you need a larger gasket for the carburetor to sit in. It is a standard Harley part number, which makes your life so much easier. It's about $12. If you're running a standard intake, you need the standard gasket, and larger intake, obviously, you need a thicker sidewall gasket, basically, so that the Electron doesn't wobble all over the shop. I'm running my Electron with a 2 Bros Moto intake, so it'll be fitted onto the base plate of that. Once the Electron is nestled into that gasket and then your intake is bolted to the front of your carb, it's not going to go anywhere. So I'll show you that bit. Right, throttle cable up, out of the way. Same with the fuel line in. And then that should fit neat and tidily in there. So you just nestle it in. Electron, nice simple install onto the Hammer Performance intake manifold and the 2 Brothers Racing Moto intake. Nice and simple for once. The intake is a 2 Brothers Racing intake. It's the Moto intake, and you saw me install that. Now, typically, if you're doing intakes and exhaust, the two go hand in hand. You normally find exhaust manufacturers produce intakes. Funny that, isn't it? The exhaust we put on the bike just so happens to be a 2 Brothers Racing one as well. Kind of like this one. How's that for a Blue Peter moment? Only certain UK residents will get that reference. That is the 2 Brothers Racing 2-in-1 exhaust. Once it's mocked up, you'll see the kind of sweep on it, and there is a specific reasons I picked it. It just so happens that is pretty much the standard exhaust that everybody that races these things over in the States uses as well. There's a bit of work to do just in terms of prep, and by a bit of work I mean like I've got to put some clips on and some brackets on. That's about it. I'll throw the bracketry on and get everything prepped, and I'll show you that process, and then we'll throw it on the bike. So let's get to it.
Now we always try to make things look simple on camera, but a lot of the time things can be a bit fiddly, like now.
Well, to put it simply, I just couldn't get the angle of a dangle, so I stopped filming because I was looking quite a bit of an idiot. So I had a good look at it, turned the camera off, had a good look at it, and now I've got it on. So it's only on loosely, but it's just resting on there. And then I'll do the rear, and then we'll see how it looks. So that's all in and on. I'll tighten it all up, obviously, but I've got the springs on, bolted it to the frame. I'll tighten it up, but it's looking pretty mean.
So I just had a very stressed young Welshman appear. It's suddenly something large, black and well, not quite as large and black as it could be, but has arrived for, I believe, the finishing touches. A couple of small issues to roll out and to sort out, and oh yeah, just a small list of tasks he's left me with.
If there is one guy who can figure out how to complete a small list of tasks, it's definitely Dan, the Mad Hatter.
We're going to run chain line in, and then when the wheel alignment's done, I can then go on to the caliper on the other side.
I am feeling down. Was that for me? Can somehow hold you down still, dancing loud. Oh my baby, calm me down.
Making a spacer for the sprocket. So because the sprocket is dished, we're gonna from that way go that way, put this spacer as a location in there, and then that will space the sprocket off that way to get it in line, and then I'll take the rest of it with the spacer, and that'll give me the room for the brake caliper bracket.
I can hold you, feeling like hell. I will lay you when you drip in my hair. Walls out for me, I can feel the waste, but my memory, how lost you to my head.
So we've counterbored these two pockets down to this depth. I thought I'd gone too deep with these bores looking at this, but this is the old, an old 3D print. This is all changed. Might as well throw that away. Here we go, brake caliper mounted. First time solid, spacered in, done. So I've started on the tunnel again. This is going to be a square tunnel, so this will be spaced off like that with a flat bit in the middle. No, I didn't show cutting it because filming's a pain.
Bike is coming together and it's definitely getting closer and closer to startup time, but before it's time to start it up, I've got to do the clutch. Now the upgraded clutch we've gone for is one from Barnett's. They're another sponsor of this and they do great clutches, but they also do awesome t-shirts. So they've sent me two just in case, which is lovely of them, and they've sent me like some sticker packs and everything, so that's the job for today. On the Sportsters, you can use a load of different tools, but I went for the Motion Pro clutch spring compression tool. There you go. I figured that's a tool that I hope doesn't have to be used a lot, but it's nice to have. I just thought for the sake of 40, 50 quid, I've got the tool, it can sit on the wall, and it is pretty much every Harley model uses that clutch tool. Motion Pro haven't sponsored me, that's not a plug or anything, I just like their stuff. Take the primary drive off and talk you through it, see how we get on.
It had got to the point in the project where we were getting a bit time compressed. The event wasn't far off and the bike still looked like this. Being time compressed often means that you have to just figure things out on the fly, and Alad is going to do a great demonstration of that right now.
Got the primary drive cover off. I'm pretty sure, I haven't watched the video yet, I'm pretty sure the clutch compression tool goes over there. You wind the stop in against that nut there, and then there's this retaining spring here that you flick out, and then that whole pack should come off. Notice the should in that sentence. I'm thinking that's how it works. This was the Motion Pro clutch spring compression tool then. This is what comes in the box. Yes, I think that will fit like that. Pretty sure I've figured this out now. So that part recesses into there. There's two like nipples, for want of a better way of putting it, that recess in there. And then there's a circlip that goes over that. It's a retaining clip, like that. So that holds that in there, and then this part of the Motion Pro tool threads onto there. So that recesses onto there, that goes on top of that, and then the handle goes on there, and then it'll compress it all down. I f***ing hate putting spring clips in. That's all the clutch plates out of there. And then in the middle of them, there was a dual plate. These are the clutch plate kits we got from Barnett Clutches then. Stickers. This is their extra plate kit. They put an extra plate, an extra normal plate in here rather than that dual plate. The instructions call to soak the friction plates, these ones, in motorcycle oil. And everyone's going to tell me how much oil I'm wasting. I'm well aware, but it was this or f*** all, so it's this. Wish all jobs were like this on the Harley. Hey everybody, guess what? Big news. Alid was a dickhead again. It's oil line time. Harley sells oil lines by the foot, and I took all the oil lines off yet again. Here's the surprise. I didn't label anything, I didn't pay any attention, so I have a bundle of oil lines. Yep, pretty standard. Job for the day, as every day, is clean that up, get the parts fish up on the TV, figure out where it goes, figure out what it does. I'll do a quick bit of filming of me cleaning oil lines. It'll be riveting for you all, I'm sure. And then start seeing if I can figure out where it goes. Ollie will kill me if I play the music, but I think you do need to realise that it is Audio Slave. That is a garage tune if there ever was one. F*** it, he can speed this part up. Four nice, neat, clean, tidy oil lines. Now I just have to figure out where the flip they go. I've Instagram called one of the guys. Thankfully, it's not like I'm the first person to do this. I'm probably one of the first people to rally one over like Europe side, but there's a whole hooligan? I think it's hooligan race scene over in the States. One of them's Mikey Virus, he's the guy that designed the Salomon C. Another one that I've been talking to is Del Bent. So Del, he's been great. And the other one is Jake, who's called me back. Hello.
What's up?
Okay.
So yeah, that line right there.
Yep.
That line right there goes into it goes right like in front of the oil filter.
Yep.
There's like a fitting in there into the cam chest. It like bends right into there.
So yeah, in case you didn't catch that, basically there's Mikey Virus, who's the seat. There's Del Bent, or Del as I know him. He's been on Instagram. He's been awesome. His build looks ridiculous as well. Well, everyone's build looks ridiculous. And then there's Jake Pope, who you just saw me speak to then. He called me back and kind of let me know what I need to do, basically. Yet again, the community, if you want to call it that. Yeah, I'm going to go with community. The hooligan Harley build dumbasses. Come together once again and let me know how to fix my bike and how to get it working. So technology definitely makes this build way easier, because I would not have wanted to do that like 10 years ago. So thanks guys.
Next time on Full HD. I shall begin.
Right, we're still bodging. I'm not enjoying myself.
What even is 7/16?
You look like Wonder Woman.